Alright, man, peace. So I touched on this notion in a couple of other videos, and the sentiment that I'm speaking about is lending money. Are you aware of who you're lending money to? Do you really know why this person needs the money that they're claiming that they need? Do you understand what the overall dynamic should be in lending money to someone, why you're lending it? And do you understand that there is a strong possibility that someone who is in such dire financial straits that they have to borrow money from you may not ever be able to pay you back? Are you going to become emotionally attached to the situation that you agreed to, that you're going to allow it to eradicate the friendship that you have with that person or the relationship with the family member that you lent the money to? It's very important that people understand that, man, because let me say this, and I said this in another video. If someone close to me asks me to lend them some money, I make them think that I'm lending them money, but I'm not lending it to them. I'm giving it to them with the understanding that this person may be in such a bad situation that they may not be able to pay me back. But what you do have to do is you have to have enough respect for me as a human being to communicate with me. Because I'm not going to let you know that I'm giving you the money. I'm going to let you think that I'm lending you the money so that I could test your character. And that's the most important thing with anybody that you allow into your life, that you understand their character. Because that's what's truly going to affect you down the line, not the money. No, money's not a big deal to me. But that brings us to this situation right here with Miss Shaquita Ballard, who thought that one of her close friends was in a very dire financial strait, so she lent her some money. And what it did was it revealed the character of her friend. So, of course, you're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
Plaintiff Shaquita Ballard was friends with the defendant and her boyfriend, the co-defendant, and she claims they often hung out together. Shaquita claims at the defendant's son's birthday party, 2 police officers showed up, handcuffed the defendant, and she was taken to jail. So Shaquita bailed her out, but she's suing because she has yet to be repaid. Defendants Antoine Lucas and his girlfriend Natavia Johnson say Shaquita dated Antoine's cousin, and she's a stalker. Antoine claims one Valentine's Day, Shaquita left a cake at Antoine's cousin's house with a knife in it.
This Negro look like a bootleg Vince Carter.
Because she was mad at him, and they insist Shaquita is suing her prematurely.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Okay, so I met Natavia Johnson through Antoine Lucas. Antoine Lucas and my kid's father are cousins. So we used to just go out, hang, kick it, do a couple things. Me and Natavia became really close where we didn't even need them to kick it. We'll just go out and hang on our own, have conversations, do things with our kids. I have 2 boys, she have a boy and a girl. Things like that. But Natavia has a little wild side to her.
Yes, and you most likely have the same wild side because you've already stated that you and her got so close that you did not need your significant others to go out and quote unquote kick it. So you have the same wild side that she has.
A few times we went out and hung. One particular incident, we were at a club. We had a few drinks. We were there for about 3 hours. It was a washroom incident. Natavia was in the washroom extremely too long. A few ladies were getting irritated, called her out on it. When Natavia came out the stall, she was real drunk and out of her mind and just punched the girl in the face. So now it's me.
That's you.
That was not me. Natavia punched the girl in her face.
How does this end?
Well, before she answers, let me say this. Did you notice that both of the people at the defendant's stand said, no, that sounds like you? So in other words, as I already stated, birds of a feather, they flock together. Let me say this, brothers, once again. And I've touched on this sentiment in some of the videos that I've made about watch your woman's friends. When you analyze the type of females that your woman likes to hang around, that's going to reveal a lot about her character. If you've only been dealing with a chick for a month or a month and a half and you meet one of her friends or a couple of her friends and they're both wild, crazy, out of order, That is how your woman is. She just hasn't shown you that aspect yet. So be very aware of the conduct that your woman's friends exhibit, because it will be indicative of the conduct that she will exhibit towards you later on down the line. And let me also say this. If you're with one of these females who loves to go to the club with her homegirls, that's someone that you should not take seriously. All that is a concubine. The plaintiff says that she has 2 children. Her quote-unquote friend, the defendant, also has 2 children, but they're at the club getting into fights. So what does that tell you about her? They're not fit to be a proper consort for a man who has his right mind. She damn sure is not fit to bear your children. And I'm sure that certain people will get offended by that. That's okay. It's all right. The woman needs to be moderating over the children, not at some damn club getting into a damn bar fight because she's falling down drunk.
Security broke it up, and they ended up kicking me, her, and two of my sisters out the club, along with the other girls. That night, no one was arrested, but that's just one incident where Natavia just loses her cool. But
how long you all been friends again?
About 3 years.
So you've known her long enough to understand her nature and that it vibes with yours. So I'm sure that she loses her cool. I'm sure that you lose your cool as well.
Any altercations with you?
No.
Arguments, falling out?
Not really. We, girl arguments here and there, but at the end of the day, we're friends, and I look at Natavia as a good friend. So when her and her boyfriend and his baby's mama are arguing, I always have Natavia's back, because that's what friends do. Like, I'm always there for all of my friends.
Yes, you have her back. In other words, you like drama, so you like to inject yourself into that situation. And sooner or later, you're going to encourage her to leave that man. So that was a major mistake on his part, introducing her to his woman. That shows you that he did not have proper discernment, because he wanted to introduce her to his woman for whatever reason, maybe to, have that double date spirit. I have no idea why, when he should be trying to build up the rapport with his woman. Next thing you know, you're out of a woman, because now she wants to put her 2 cents in every situation.
So that's like non-negotiable. So if they need me, I'm there. And so.
Okay, let me hear from you.
Well, see, it's kind of my fault. See, Your Honor, I introduced them to.
Ding, ding. Good for you, brother, for understanding that you were the prime mover in a lot of this confusion. Brothers, don't get into the habit of introducing all these random females to your woman, man. Oftentimes, many of these women can get their concentration easily distracted by outside forces. So you want to create as much of a bubble atmosphere as you can within your relationship. The more dynamics that you allow into your life, the more possibilities your relationship will be affected.
She like the girlfriend that you never want to be around. Like she...
Ding. You hear what he's saying, brothers? That's why I make those videos. Watch your woman's friends. Because I could already tell that the plaintiff is intrusive. As soon as she started to talk about how she's on her friend's side whenever her boyfriend is getting into a back and forth with his baby's mother, and she's involved, and now that the plaintiff wants to jump in and get on her friend's side, it's really not your job to be on anybody's side. But the reason why she's saying that is because eventually she's going to try to encourage the defendant to leave him. And I believe that he already sees the future coming down the pike, that if he does not separate them or hope that they separate from each other, the plaintiff will initiate some type of destruction in the relationship that he has with the defendant.
Like the stalker girlfriend type. So
How so?
it's like different
I'm sorry,
things. Like
stalking who?
Like on Valentine's Day, my cousin, he a little hot. He like one of them pretty boys or something like that. So she came with a cake one time and smeared it all over the back gate with a knife in the middle.
Okay.
Like that type of crazy.
Why?
Because she's stigmatized. That's all that was about.
Because he wouldn't be with her or something?
Yeah.
That is not true. It's not that he would not. It's not that he would not be with me. He lied. That's what that incident was. He lied. I did show up at the house with a cake with a knife in it. I was upset. I'm not. I was upset. He lied to me.
No, you just stigmatized. That's all. He lied to you. He most likely did not lie to you. He just understood that he was in a relationship with a female who was tempestuous mentally, was very unstable psychologically, and now he got her hooked onto the rod, and he did not know how to get her unhooked. So he told you what he needed to tell you so that hopefully you would understand that he was dealing with other chicks. Once you came to the realization that he had other women, you decided you were going to try to stake your claim to him by doing something extreme.
We were supposed to go out for his birthday, me and him, but he actually had a
You all
party.
hang out together. You're both nuts.
Absolutely. Birds of a feather, they flock together, Your Honor.
Yes, young lady, you have something to say?
She just a bad influence on me.
Bad influence,
That's a very high probability that the plaintiff is a bad influence on her. Once again, the defendant, meaning the male standing at the defendant's stand, he understands what he did. So he's most likely hoping that this case will cause a separation between the two of them so that he can cordon off his woman to himself and try to build back up their relationship without the possibility of that exterior confusion being injected into his life. Brothers, once again, you want to have as few dynamics involved in your relationship with your woman as possible. You already know that you're going to have to deal with the dynamic of her and her mother, possibly her and previous men that she's been associated with, her and whatever female friend that she has. When you start getting into the process of introducing her to other females, you're only going to bring more confusion into your life that is unnecessary.
Sounds like you went first.
No. We
If
had
I'm a
actually
bad
went out
influence-
a couple weeks ago, and she got into it with the girls and she tried to cut the line in front of 4 girls, so she got us put out the club. Fighting in the bedroom, muffin girls.
Different day.
A different day.
So you all fight over the bathroom every time
That
you
was,
go.
that
Yes, they have nothing else better to do than to go out to the club every week while they have children at home.
that was her.
Had to get
That
y'all
was her.
some
That was her. That was her. She has.
What are you suing them
She
about
has a weak
today?
bladder.
Tell me about this bail bond.
Bro, it's pissy drunk all up at the club looking for what? To have drinks? They can't have alcohol and sip it at home? It's very clear that they're out there trying to do their thing. And the defendant probably just doesn't give a damn because he doesn't want to get into any arguments.
So I am suing Natavia for $3,700. It was the day of her son's birthday party. I was coming out the washroom, the locker room, from changing into my swimsuit. He had a swim party at this hotel. I forget the name. I'm sorry.
That's all right, whatever it might
But,
be.
Yeah, anywho, he had a party at a birthday, a party at the hotel. My kids were there, her kids, a host of other kids. And my cousins was there, her sisters, her 2 sisters, her mom, and a few other people. When I came out the washroom from changing into my swimsuit, the police had her. 2 male white officers had her. I walked over there just trying to see what was going on. She was just telling me to get the kids. Don't let the kids come over here. The officer kept asking her what her name was. She was giving them a wrong name.
That should tell you a lot. That should tell you that whatever the issue is, she's running from it. I did a video a while back pertaining to a so-called black man who claimed that he was the victim of racial profiling, and come to find out he has a history of carrying illegal guns around his neighborhood. Brothers, if you're with a female and suddenly the police are trying to arrest her and she's giving a fake name, what should that tell you? That tells you that she does not give a damn about the possible repercussions of her lies. Because 9 times out of 10, a person who's giving a fake name to the police doesn't grasp that it is a high probability that they're going to find out that they're lying to them, that person is lying to them. And it's only going to make them look even worse. So if a person is willing to give a fake name to the police, what type of lies are they going to be willing to tell you to squirm their way out of a situation? It's up to you to pay attention to certain facets that emerge about a person's life or about their character.
So now I'm looking lost because now I'm bagging up because I know eventually he's going to ask me, what's her name? And I don't want no parts of that.
Well, you should have known, particularly if you were as observant as you act like you are. When you're in the club situation with her and she's coming out of bathrooms, pissy drunk, getting into fights, that this is a person that maybe I should not be as close with as I'm trying to be, if for no other reason than you're a mother with 2 children, and if she gets into any legal situations that could trickle over to you and affect your children. But then again, if you were thinking on that level, you wouldn't be in the club getting pissy drunk to begin with.
So I'm bagging up.
You got in trouble then because you gave another phony name.
Ding. Once again, birds of a feather, they flock together.
So,
You gave a phony name too?
yeah.
You see how she tried to skip over that?
Both you all give phony names.
Because, you know, I mean, she's
Y'all
my...
out there card cracking? Chicago say card cracking town. That's what y'all doing?
She's my friend, so
Y'all go to
I
jail
was
for
coming
real.
out the... Yeah.
Thank you, sir. You heard what Mathis said? Y'all go to jail for real. That's fraud. Like, why are you trying to defraud the police for? Brothers, see, I make these videos for you, brothers, because a lot of y'all get caught up with females like this, and you think that this is a down-ass chick. It's not a down-ass chick. All this chick is, both of them, both the plaintiff and the defendant, are a couple of silly broads who don't know how to keep their asses at home and like to create problems for themselves where they should not be.
Yeah, I was just coming out the washroom from changing, so I had no idea what was going on. And I just came in at the middle when she was just giving him names. And when I was trying to bag up because I didn't want no parts, and when he asked me what was her name, I kind of went along with the flow. And then he was like...
You went along with the flow. You're a grown-ass woman, so you said to yourself, my homegirl gave a fake name, so I'm going to give a fake name too because that'll work. That'll get us out of this.
Like, when his partner radioed in the name that I gave, nothing came back. And he just said, well, you know what, I'm going to take you in. We're going to figure this out. But if it comes back that this is not your name, more charges are going to be added on to what you're about to be getting charged with now. Mm-hmm. So she eventually told him what her name was and that she had a $4,000 bond from a previous case from a year ago.
Ding. A case that you most likely knew nothing about.
So the kids are coming close now. The officer actually escorted me, her, him. We went to another room. He asked her if she had the money at home because when he ran her name, that's what came up. And he told her, well, when I take you in, run your fingerprints, everything comes back as the way it said it's going to come back from the radio. You post the $4,000, you will get out that night. She said she had the money in the bank. She had a debit card. We're talking Saturday around 7:30. She said she can't take $4,000 out the bank. I said, all right. I took a deep breath. I said, well, I got the money at home, but I'm moving. You know,
Now, brothers, pay very close attention to what she just said. She said that she had the money at home. She was going to be willing to put up bond for her friend because her friend was going to have problems accessing the money that she claimed that she had in her own account. But what did the plaintiff follow up and say? She needed the money because she's moving. You never lend money that you cannot afford to give away. I'm going to say it again. You never lend money that you cannot afford to give away. Period. That will stop a lot of the dissolutions of these relationships that people go through because they lend money to people who they want to maintain a quote-unquote friendship with, and they're not even sure how good of a friend that person is until they're put into a dire circumstance like that, and then that person's character or lack thereof is revealed. You never, ever lend money that you cannot afford to give away.
Kids, they got me put out because of noise complaints, so I have to be gone by the 1st of December. I need that money back.
Now, did you hear what the defendant said when the plaintiff stated that she got put out of her apartment for noise complaints? The defendant said that's the second time that has happened to her. So these are a couple of hood rats. That's what that boils down to.
So she promised to pay me that money back that following Monday, which was the next business day, because here we are Saturday.
Coming up on Judge Mathis.
So now let me say this. The plaintiff clearly was very loyal to the defendant in regards to their friendship. When it involves money, especially money that you're going to need because you're in a dire circumstance like the plaintiff is with her children, having to save up money to move. You can't count on people being a person of their word. You just can't. She might have said to herself, that's my homegirl. She'd never do me like that. She's not going to jerk me like that. You never really know people until they're put into an adverse situation. And it's not even like the defendant didn't have the money or doesn't have the money. It may just be that she may just say to herself, you know what, to hell with her. I'll pay her back when I feel like it. And you have people out there like that, and that oftentimes leads to not just the dissolving of their relationship, it could lead to death. Because you do have people out here who will try to fuck people over like that, and they don't understand what they're putting themselves into. Just like they may have had their character or lack thereof revealed, they may reveal a certain aspect of their friend that they might not be aware of that their friend has when they try to screw them over like that. Certain people you might think are the nicest people in the world, you try to screw them over and it brings out a beast. You have to be very careful with your interactions with people, man, especially when it involves money.
Go ahead.
So they lock her up. I took some of the kids back to my house. Antoine and her mom took some of the kids. There was so many kids there. He met me at the house, got the money. He didn't burn out that night. He didn't burn her out until Sunday. He got the money, didn't burn her out until Sunday.
She know that? She know you left her in?
Yeah, she a goofy.
Yeah, you can look and see that she's goofy. I agree with that. And what did he do with your money? Probably went to the club, probably paid up a couple of his own bills and said, we'll just pay her back, when we're ready. Because he most likely looks at you as being goofy also. Matter of fact, all three of them look goofy. I mean, he looks like a weed head version of Vince Carter.
She a goofy. I gave him the money Saturday. He was supposed to burn her out. She knew that because she called. And I believe my friend told her that, Quita gave Twan the money to get you out. He didn't get her until that Sunday. And so I didn't hear from Tavi, I want to say, maybe Tuesday, and we met Wednesday.
What have they said about your money?
You see the judge cut her off because he's tired of hearing her silly shit. He wants to get to the point now.
She actually got a bond reduction.
Let's see it. Let me hear from you all. They haven't paid you, obviously. That's why you're suing. Let me hear from you all.
She gave me $300 towards that. That's why I'm not suing for the original $4,000.
Let's hear from you all.
We agreed that I was going to get her money back, but it was never a specific date on when
this
to
wasn't
give
a lifetime loan, Your Honor. She knew I was moving December 1st. If you loan your friend $4,000, you gonna ask for your money back on a specific date, right or wrong.
Yep.
This not $100. This not $200. I'm not never finna put $4,000 in somebody hand and say, "I pay me back when you get it," and I have to be out of my apartment less than 30 days. That makes no sense.
Yeah. When are you gonna pay it back? Okay, so that's...
You see the lack of respect there? She thinks that it's a big joke in a game. But that should be a lesson to the plaintiff, and hopefully that'll be a lesson to many of you brothers out there. You never lend money that you cannot give away. Because a lot of these people, they don't give a fuck about anything but their damn self. That's how a lot of them are. And the plaintiff had to find that out the hard way. And notice that the defendant said there was no agreement on when to pay her back. Well, why should there be an agreement when, according to you, you already had the money in your account, but you just couldn't access it until Monday? So why is that necessary? If you're someone of integrity, as soon as you get out, you head down to the bank and you pay your friend back. And you know what that does? That makes your relationship even stronger. But many people don't think on that level because they're too busy trying to see who they can get over on. A lot of these people that you read about in the newspaper get found somewhere. They got found somewhere because they tried to screw somebody over and it did not end well for them. They screwed over the wrong person or tried to. So judgment from above can be very harsh.
That's a breach right there. What you've just done is created what they call an anticipatory breach of contract. You don't even have any idea when you're going to pay this woman back.
Yes, because she truly does not plan on paying her back. She never planned on paying her back.
Back her $4,000. She has a specific time frame. She said she gave you and you agreed to, what was it, 7-10 days, whatever it might have been.
It wasn't even that long.
Yes, it was supposed to be immediately, because as soon as her quote-unquote friend was to be bailed out, she was supposed to go and get the money from her own bank account to reimburse the plaintiff. That was the point of the plaintiff saying that the only reason why she lent her the money or lent her man the money in the first place was based off of the concept that they were not able to access the money that they claimed that they had in their own account.
You haven't done that. You say it wasn't any time frame, so I asked you, when do you intend to pay her? You couldn't even tell me. So that indicates that you don't intend to pay her in a timely manner,
if at all.
And as such, you've breached that contract, and your judgment is granted. $3,700. Have a good day.
Good for you. Hopefully you're intelligent enough to cut that person off. Cut off her and her silly-looking man. Right? Shouldn't he be playing for the Sacramento Kings or something right now? How did he make it to Judge Mathis' courtroom? Hopefully she learns from this, but I doubt it because the plaintiff seems to be just as silly as the defendant.
Thank you. Both of y'all need each other. $3,700 to get y'all out of my life. She has nothing to say. She a shyster. Him and her are good for each other. They ran out with my money.
I agree. They are shysters, the both of them.
Ain't nothing else to talk about. There's nothing else to talk about.
That's crazy.
There's nothing else to talk about. That's the only thing you can say is that's crazy because they ran out with my cash.
Had nothing to say.
Of course. You got caught red-handed trying to do her dirty.
I ain't give a specific date. This wasn't a
She didn't give a specific date. That's it.
She doesn't have to give you a specific date. She did you the favor of bailing you out. But once again, once she saw that the cops were ready to arrest her quote-unquote friend and her friend gave a fake name, if her friend was ready to give a fake name to the police, when she should have already known that there's a 99.9% chance that once she's detained, her true identity is going to be verified. That should show you that she has no real cognitive process, no thought process going on in her brain. So you as a so-called friend is supposed to back up and say, you know what? It's a good probability that if I lend her this money, that I'm going to get jerked around and I need this money to move with my children. That's where her brain should have been. All she would have had to say is, I don't have it right now. You can stay in jail until Monday. You can, you have a man, you and your man could work on it. That's where her brain should have been once she saw what her friend did in regards to lying to the police. And once she weighed in the balance her friend's previous conduct at the club, etc. It's not a person that's responsible.
This wasn't a lifetime loan.
But anyway, hopefully a lot of you brothers, particularly you younger brothers, you take what I stated into account in regards to lending money. You never lend money that you cannot afford to give away. All right? But anyway, peace.